Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining the Fireside Chat with Ms. Ilaria Chan, Chairwoman at Tech for Good Institute by Grab. So as introduced by MC just now, I'm Cerin, ESG Director at Alibaba. And for the next 15 to 25 minutes, I will be your moderator. And great to be with you, Ilaria. Thanks so much for being with us. So today, we are at Asia World Expo. So we are here to connect, bridge, so whatever that means. And I would want to start off on that theme. So could you please share with us a brief overview of your role at Grab, Tech for Good Institute, and the several board and advisory positions you hold across different industries around the world, I would say.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm originally actually from Hong Kong, and I currently live in San Francisco Bay Area, but I've worked around the world, and my work actually focuses on Southeast Asia and uplifting and connecting the 8 countries that we operate mainly in Southeast Asia with the world and thought leadership around the world. So I'm currently an advisor to Grab's operating company, but I'm also the founding chairwoman of Tech for Good Institute, which is a think tank that was founded and seeded by Grab. We were founded in 2021 when Grab went public on NASDAQ, and the whole theme is to basically bring together the countries in Southeast Asia to use tech for the good of society. Aside from my roles with Grab and Tech for Good Institute, I also serve on several boards in humanitarian organizations, for example, helping orphans in developing Asia, also geopolitical advisory between US-China academic relations for Stanford, and also venture capital, and especially using education tech for good. So I definitely have different interests, but what links everything together is I really have a passion to link Asia to the West in a way that fosters authentic relationships. And I have interests across different sectors because my experience previously was an investment banker, and then later I realized actually the humanitarian organizations are just doing such purpose-driven things for the world, but they need financing. And venture capital, as an investor myself, is able to seed a lot of these smaller startups and social enterprises. And if I can just play a small role in connecting everybody in the map so that they could have more synergy and more impact, that's what keeps me excited every day.
We can see that you're wearing so many different hats at the same time, but it's really bridging East and West and do good for the world. And I'm particularly impressed when I first have the prep call with you while we were in Hong Kong, and then she was in San Francisco. And you know, as a super working mom, I would say, no helper. And she has a very constructive call with us while cooking at the same time. So I was so impressed by her energy level and determination and commitment. So even though I really like to know more about you, but I think maybe it's time for us to focus on Grab for now. And the mission of Grab is driving Southeast Asia forward by creating economic empowerment for everyone. So Grab has been recognized for embedding social impact into its core business strategy. So could you elaborate on how this approach differentiates Grab from other regional companies?
I just wonder, who has used the Grab app here in the audience? Oh, that's wonderful. Such a well-traveled crowd. So those of you who don't know who we are, we're like a Uber, PayPal, DoorDash, all-in-one. We're headquartered in Singapore. We operate in 8 countries. And the 2 founders who met at Harvard Business School realized that they took a class together called Business at the Bottom of the Pyramid and really want to do something to solve the safety issue in Malaysia, especially at that time for women. Actually, one of the co-founders, she used to work very late hours as a consultant, and she would have to pretend to be on the phone with her mom in the car just so that the driver knows that she can actually call for help if something happens. And in many parts of the world, not Hong Kong, we're very lucky here, and China is very safe, but different parts of the world, safety is a huge issue. So they actually started the company to tackle mobility safety, and later realized actually drivers, many of them in Southeast Asia don't have bank accounts. And the privilege we enjoy to be banked, to have access to loans, to invest and have interest is actually not enjoyed by most people in Southeast Asia who are unbanked. So later on, they realize financial services is a great area, as well as deliveries to also help drivers diversify their income during the hours where they don't have car ride orders. So many of those bundled together has evolved into why Grab is now a super app, which offers mobility, delivery, and financial services. And really hyper-localized to address the needs of people in Southeast Asia, because I think, for example, in Hong Kong, the needs are maybe different. But over there, when people mostly store their cash under their beds, to be able to have a micro way of having a credit proxy, which is the app to show that you repeatedly get income, to then allow you to have credibility to open a bank account, to then have the credibility to ask for a micro loans so they could buy 1 or 2 more motorcycles that they could rent out, significantly increases their income possibility and hence quality of living for themselves and family. So actually that's how Grab created a now triple bottom line business, because we also look at mobility and also the electric vehicles potential as an important part of helping all the businesses to be growing sustainably.
So we can clearly see that like Grab is really trying to resolve the problem of the local communities. So can you provide specific examples of how this integration had led to the business growth and positive societal outcomes?
Well, all those, I think, mentioned, the biggest part that moved me is financial inclusion. When you see 600 plus million people, we joke that we're living in a region, Southeast Asia, where slumdog millionaires live next to crazy rich Asians. And it's true. I mean, when you go to India, we don't operate there, but or you go to Indonesia, you can be staying at a Four Seasons hotel, you look out of the window, you see slums. And that rich-poor gap, if we don't tackle it and offer ways to uplift the masses, will actually cause huge social disruptive outcome. And so Grab's mission has always been economic empowerment, as well as, of course, safety and other issues. But the biggest belief that I think the founders and the Grab team have is that we have to help the masses to have tools to earn a good living themselves and have upward social mobility, and also be able to use technology to help them, because we're living currently in a golden age of tech and AI. If you can use it, you allow it to be this tailwind to bring you up. You basically become a superhuman. Like all of us can be superhuman with the use of AI if we know how to use it. But if we don't, we're going to be freaked out about computers taking our jobs, which is also a very prevailing theme amongst conference discussions. So how do we also help these MSMEs, small, tiny little business owners, gig workers, understand how to use an app? And actually, Grab has these insight apps that help them understand data, for example, of their own businesses, for some of our delivery partners that sell us food, and also allow them to see what their business summary is like on a monthly, daily basis, so they can think, oh, how do I prep? How do I batch? How do I better organize my resources so that I can make more money? And teaching them, onboarding them on how to use this technology. Because it's actually, I mean, even for us, was it that easy for you when you first had to use a smartphone? It wasn't easy for me. I mean, I still have to ask for help on how to use the Apple smartphone. And can you think about people who don't even have bank accounts? That leap is huge. And so being able to hold their hands in all of the above while providing them a way to make money every day is very important for us.
I totally agree with you. I think digital inclusion is such a big topic, especially because of this new wave of AI. So we talk about empowerment, right? So I understand that Grab actually operates very extensively with gig workers and also small businesses. Can you share a bit more with us as what initiative has Grab implemented to support and uplift this group and communities?
Yeah, of course. So I glossed a little bit over that, but in Southeast Asia, minus Singapore in some ways, over 97% of the economy is filled with these tiny MSMEs, small, medium enterprises. So when I visited Jakarta for the first time when I joined Grab, I actually went and visited, and Jakarta is already the capital of Indonesia, right? I see all these tiny little corner shops where one man with a 5-story cupboard is selling smartphone top-up cards, chewing gum, curry fish ball, and also trying to do more, right? And these are kind of tiny merchants that understand their local community. And so then if they have the ways to understand that, oh, we can actually deliver or drive or work with these technology platforms, then it provides them more ways to earn. So last year, Grab actually onboarded around 500,000 MSMEs, and also more than around 67% of our top line revenue are contributed by these MSMEs. As a result, like I mentioned, it's important for us to design the language that they are digestible and teachable to them. So I mentioned a little bit about merchant app. Grab's merchant app is hyper designed so that the insights, the data is benefiting them. It's not for us, right, that are used to Excel and YouTube and all the wonderful things that technology has offered us. It's for them so that they could benefit their business in a very resource scarce way. So for example, if you operate a tiny little noodle shop, actually, let's do salad. If you do salad and you do things that are perishable, in hot weather countries, which Southeast Asia is, it is really important for you to know when to prepare how much, right? Like Japanese restaurants, they need to order just the right amount of sashimi. Otherwise, they're going to lose a lot of money. Food cost is huge. So we work a lot with food merchants and to help them have insights to preempt the demand and have heat maps, for example, that is powered by technology to tell you, oh, actually between 12 and 2 p.m., that's the most orders will come in at that time. So you can prepare the mass volume to be then, and then it tapers off. That will be actually game-changing, for example, for these small merchants. That's just one or two examples for gig workers and MSMEs, but that really is the main demographic that we're trying to serve.
The data, power of data and technology combined together really can serve this group very well. So I think maybe let's move on to Tech for Good Institute. As the chairwoman, how does the institute collaborate with Grab to drive social impact in the digital economy?
So actually during COVID, I was trapped in San Francisco at that time. A few staff and I, we really are passionate about thought leadership, to bring together people to care about this space, whether you're in the public sector or private sector, to talk about what is really going on in technology and how is it actually changing the lives for everyday people. So what started as really a series of online webinars, then we realized, wow, there is such a demand and hunger to get together to talk about and inform these policies and private technology businesses, because these guys together move forward. Like Grab, we work a lot with government. Like our CEO spends so much time with government leaders because they are partners in designing and creating a lot of these, especially mobility services, highly regulated, right? To create what is a better future look like for people of this country if we work together. But that's not the case everywhere else, as I'm sure you can see, right? Many of times it's government against private sector. Hence, we see people, being private sector tech CEOs being called to see the Congress and report on things that they've done wrong. We don't want to see that. We want to work and collaborate with private and public sector together so that the society benefits from what technology has to offer, which is why our think tank is really at this intersection of technology, policy, and society. So we have research, which we work with world-class partners like consultancies and government authorities, where we write pieces that are actually teaching what's going on, but we also curate real-life meetings like this, because then people can actually talk to each other afterwards and form actual authentic relationships that might even blossom into partnerships. And on top of that, we are wanting to keep a very tight pulse on what's going on in Southeast Asia, so we represent Southeast Asia to the world. So that's really the mission and work that we do at the Institute.
So that's really good. I think it's because of the thought leadership, you really engage with different stakeholders in the ecosystem, so can listen and engage with different people and improve the business and society as a whole. So because of the limited time, I think we should talk a little bit about future. So what are the key opportunities and challenges you foresee for Grab in continuing to drive social impact in Southeast Asia?
I think it applies to Grab. It obviously applies to all companies. I mentioned about rich-poor gap. I think on top of widening rich-poor gap, especially in regions like Southeast Asia, we're also seeing obviously geopolitical tension. And those are not exclusive to Grab. I think everybody needs to have a very good grip on humanity right now. We have to understand what other people, especially people who are not the same culture upbringing us, what are they thinking? What are they worried about? What do they want? If we even want to work with them, have them as our customers, have them as our clients, have them as our investors. I know people in Hong Kong and Asia love going to Middle East now, for example, to get investors. Do you know what they want? What is their objective? So I would first say, because of the challenges of society in geopolitics, in socioeconomic issues, we absolutely need to understand humanity better and have private connections, right? Be a personal bridge to bridge gaps and bridge relationships. And technology and AI can help you with that. For example, Cerin, I don't know anything about you, but these days I can just talk to ChatGPT.
Ask DeepSeek, right?
I live in San Francisco, so I use ChatGPT. So I say, hey, can you tell me everything you can scrub online about Cerin? What did she do before Alibaba? What does she like to do? I mean, anything that I can find. Then when I see you, I am so much more informed and prepared about you. It actually makes you feel valued, right? If I did some prep about you, Alibaba's work, ESG work, your legal work before you join Alibaba, those are technology's tools to enhance us as human when we interact with other humans. And when we know human beings better, we can actually create products, going back to commercial, products that are better catered and curated for them. And that is great money-making possibilities, right? Everyone wants personalized products that makes them feel like their livelihood is better and they're enjoying better possibilities. So I would probably end with that.
I think we have a common thing among all the speakers this morning, at least, is to run a good business, we have to be a good person first. So maybe one last question in one sentence, what message would you like to convey to other companies, maybe all the startup like entrepreneur here, to integrate social impact into their core business? What's the advice?
Yeah, and I know that Grab CEO will say the same. Solve real social problems. And I know that there are a lot of great apps and companies that are trying to do things that are really fun and addictive, and in the short run, maybe it seems like it's a good revenue-making idea. But I think the battle right now, in this age of tech and AI, is the battle between pushing mindlessness to your customers or pushing mindfulness. And you have the potential and weapon to do either or. I would say choose mindfulness, even though it may not be immediately viral. It is not the junk food per se for life that immediately you will enjoy it. But you will, if you create long-term value for people, you solve a true society problem that people desperately need help with, they just don't know it yet, you will have fantastic medium and long-term fruits while doing great for mankind and society, and you'll sleep better at night.
Ilaria, thanks so much. I think we all love the stories and insights you share with us today. Thank you for having your time with us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.